You wake up and already you are negotiating. The alarm rings, and your first thought is not possibility but delay. Just 5 more minutes. Just one more snooze. In that small choice the entire day begins to tilt. You think discipline is about the big decisions, but it is forged in these tiny, hidden moments. And most people lose before they even stand up. Here is the brutal truth. You do not need more motivation. You do not need more energy. You need structure. Winners understand that the morning is not a casual space. It is the battlefield where identity is either claimed or surrendered. If you drift in the first hour, you drift all day. If you lock discipline in the first hour, quitting does not get a chance to speak. Think back on your own life. How many days started with delay and ended with guilt? You promised yourself last night that tomorrow you would change. You would rise early. You would begin strong. You would build momentum. But tomorrow came, and you repeated the same loop. The alarm rang, you hit snooze, and before you knew it the morning was gone. That is not weakness of character. That is weakness of design. And design can be rebuilt. Napoleon Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. But purpose without daily ritual is just fantasy. He studied men and women who created legacies, and he saw the same thread. They mastered the small. They mastered the invisible. They mastered the morning. While most of the world stumbled into their day reactive and distracted, these individuals carved out systems that made discipline automatic. That is why their results looked superhuman. But they were not superhuman. They were systematic. Picture this. One man wakes and spends his first hour scrolling. He reads headlines written by strangers, reacts to other people's problems, consumes chaos. His day becomes reactive because his brain has been trained to react. Another man wakes and follows a ritual. He sits up immediately, drinks water, breathes deeply, writes down his priorities, and moves his body. His day becomes proactive because his brain has been trained to create. The difference is not talent. The difference is morning discipline. Here is how you begin to rebuild yours. Step 1. Decide right now that your morning is sacred. It is not random. It is not negotiable. Step 2. Remove the common traps, the phone by your bed, the temptation of endless snoozing, the flood of notifications. Step 3. Replace them with triggers that force you forward, a glass of water ready, a notebook waiting, clothes laid out for movement. Step 4. Repeat this until it is identity. Until you are not trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined. Why does this matter so much? Because the brain is most impressionable in the morning. It is a sponge, waiting for instruction. If you feed it chaos, you will live chaotic. If you feed it clarity, you will live clear. Winners never leave that impression to chance. They seize it. They command it. They load their mornings with actions that echo all day. Think about soldiers. At dawn they drill, they move, they repeat rituals not because the actions themselves are dramatic but because they ingrain readiness. That readiness carries into battle. Your life may not be a battlefield of guns and armor, but it is a battlefield of distraction, temptation, and drift. If you want to win, you must prepare the same way. So here is your first truth. Stop lying to yourself about tomorrow. Tomorrow is not magic. Tomorrow is just a reflection of today's choices. If you want to break the cycle of weak will, you must engineer your morning so that discipline is inevitable. No more negotiations. No more casual starts. Winners do not hope for a better day. They build it in the first hour. And now I want you to ask yourself this. If you were to design one single action that could not be skipped tomorrow morning, what would it be? Not 10 actions. Not an entire fantasy routine. One action. One small move that signals to your brain, discipline has begun. Write it down. Commit to it. Share it with someone. And tomorrow, let that action become the first stone in the foundation of a new identity. This is not theory. This is not wishful thinking. This is the formula that has carried ordinary people into extraordinary lives. Hill revealed it nearly a century ago, and it is still true today. Weak will is not permanent. Drive is not genetic. Discipline is built. And it begins every morning, in the seconds after your eyes open, when the world has not yet spoken but your choices already are. So here is your challenge. Tomorrow morning, prove it. Stop waiting. Start building. Your discipline begins the moment you decide it does. And when you do, you will discover that the formula has been in your hands all along. Your morning is not just the start of the day. It is the steering wheel of everything that follows. Most people treat it like background noise, a blur between sleep and work, a space to rush through. Winners treat it as sacred. They know that the first 60 minutes determine the rhythm, the energy, and the direction of the next 16 hours. Think about your past mornings. On the days you woke late, stumbled through, grabbed your phone, and rushed into traffic, how did you feel the rest of the day? Tense. Distracted. Behind. Even if you later found focus, it was uphill, because the day had already tilted against you. Now think about the rare mornings when you woke with intention. You had a plan. You moved deliberately. You finished something meaningful before the world demanded anything of you. How did those days feel? Clear. Strong. Aligned. That difference was not random. That was the power of the morning. Napoleon Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the foundation of achievement. But purpose without control of the morning is like a ship with sails but no rudder. It has energy, but it drifts with the wind. Winners do not let the day set their direction. They set it themselves in the first hour. They build a rudder. They aim the ship. That is why their lives look consistent while others feel chaotic. Here is the invisible law: mornings multiply. A small discipline in the morning echoes into the afternoon. A strong choice before breakfast makes the next choice easier. Momentum builds, layer by layer. But the reverse is also true. A lazy choice in the morning echoes downward. Hitting snooze multiplies hesitation. Checking social feeds multiplies distraction. The first domino decides the chain. Winners push the right domino. So how do you change this? Step 1. Reframe your morning as non-negotiable. Stop treating it as leftover time. See it as the most valuable hour of your life. Step 2. Design it deliberately. Do not leave it to chance or mood. Step 3. Protect it fiercely. No outside demands, no random noise, no wandering decisions. Step 4. Fill it with acts that align to your highest goals. Imagine two artists. The first wakes and instantly checks commissions, messages, and chatter. By the time he begins his own work, his mind is cluttered with other voices. His art suffers. The second wakes and spends his first hour sketching freely, unbothered, sharpening his skills. Later, when demands arrive, he is already anchored. One drifts, one directs. The difference is not talent. It is morning discipline. Hill observed that the mind is most impressionable at the start of the day. What you give it first becomes the lens for everything else. Feed it noise, and you live distracted. Feed it clarity, and you live decisive. That is why winners often journal, read, visualize, or reflect early. They are not wasting time. They are programming the mind. Here is a practical framework you can use. Call it the first hour formula. Minute 0 to 10, physical activation. Stretch, hydrate, breathe. Tell the body it is time. Minute 10 to 30, mental alignment. Write your top 3 tasks, visualize their completion, speak them out loud. Minute 30 to 60, focused creation. Work on the hardest or most valuable task while your energy is pure. That single hour, repeated daily, becomes a fortress. It becomes the habit that removes randomness. Winners know they cannot control the entire day. Emergencies come, distractions appear, schedules shift. But they can control the first hour. And if they win that, they have already won. Picture yourself as a builder. If you lay a strong foundation stone every morning, the building of your life rises stable. If you skip the stone, the structure cracks. Morning discipline is the stone. You lay it once each day. You never skip. And over months, the walls of identity rise. So here is your second truth. Stop drifting into your mornings. Design them. Protect them. Multiply them. Winners do not stumble into discipline by luck. They create it by guarding the hour that shapes all the others. And if you claim that hour, you claim your day. The first hack winners use is so small that most people ignore it. Yet it is the foundation of every other habit. It is the micro action the moment you wake up. Winners know that hesitation in the first 30 seconds of the day poisons everything that follows. Losers let themselves lie still, stare at the ceiling, scroll on the phone, and negotiate with comfort. Winners design a trigger that forces action before excuses even open their eyes. Think about how you usually start. The alarm rings, you reach for the phone, your thumb scrolls without thought. 10 minutes slip by. Then 20. By the time you stand, you are already behind. And your brain has learned a dangerous lesson: delay is acceptable. That single lesson repeats itself throughout the day. You delay the workout, you delay the project, you delay the dream. It all began in the first 30 seconds. Napoleon Hill wrote that action is the real measure of intelligence. He was not describing grand decisions. He meant the small, decisive acts that prove you control your mind. The smartest people are not those who think the longest. They are those who act quickly on their priorities. Winners use this principle the moment they wake. Their first move is not random. It is ritual. So what does this look like? For some, it is sitting up immediately and planting both feet on the ground. For others, it is drinking a glass of water they placed on the nightstand the night before. Some take 3 deep breaths. Some stretch their arms overhead. These are not meaningless gestures. They are commands. They say to the body and the brain, we are moving forward. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Choose one micro-action that you will do the instant your alarm rings. Step 2. Prepare it the night before so there is no excuse. Place the water where you can reach it. Lay the journal where you can see it. Put the shoes by the bed. Step 3. Repeat it every single morning without negotiation. Step 4. Anchor your identity to it. You are not someone who delays. You are someone who moves. Picture 2 different mornings. In the first, you hit snooze 3 times, scroll social media, and finally drag yourself up after half an hour. You already feel late, sluggish, guilty. In the second, your alarm rings, you sit up, drink water, breathe deeply, and stand. The day has not even begun, but you have already won. The difference is not energy. It is design. Hill emphasized that habits grow from repetition, not inspiration. The repetition of a micro-action each morning builds the identity of discipline. At first it feels small, even silly. But after 30 days, you no longer debate with yourself about rising. You rise. After 60 days, you no longer identify as someone who struggles to start. You identify as someone who begins immediately. That identity makes the rest of discipline easier. Here is a writing formula you can follow tonight. Write down one action you will do immediately tomorrow morning. Write why it matters to your future self. Place it on your nightstand so it is the first thing you see when you wake. Tomorrow, execute without hesitation. This is how you reprogram your brain. You are no longer letting chance decide how the day begins. You are deciding. And that decision compounds. The brain learns that when the alarm rings, movement follows. When movement follows, identity strengthens. When identity strengthens, discipline expands. Imagine a runner at the starting line. The gun fires. He does not debate. He does not hesitate. He moves. Your mornings need the same reflex. The alarm is the gun. Your micro-action is the sprint forward. Winners rehearse this reflex until it is automatic. That is why they never drift into their days. They launch into them. So here is your third truth. Discipline is not a dream. It is not waiting for you to feel ready. It is the micro-action you design and repeat until it becomes who you are. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, you will either prove your weakness or prove your drive. And the proof will be in the move. The second hack winners use every morning is the fixed starting ritual. It may look simple from the outside, almost mechanical, but that is the point. The ritual removes decision-making. It eliminates hesitation. It tells the brain, this is what we do every morning, without question. Think about how most people begin their day. They stumble into the kitchen, wonder whether to make coffee first or check email, maybe glance at their phone, maybe sit in silence, maybe flip on the television. Every choice requires energy. Every small debate drains willpower. By the time they start meaningful work, they have already exhausted their focus on meaningless questions. Winners avoid this trap. They start their day with a ritual so consistent that it becomes automatic. Napoleon Hill studied the lives of successful men and women and discovered that none of them began their days in chaos. They had definite plans, definite routines, definite starts. Some prayed, some wrote affirmations, some moved their bodies, but all of them used a sequence that never changed. Why? Because the brain craves patterns. When you feed it a ritual, it relaxes. It saves energy. It slips into flow. Imagine a musician before a concert. He does not walk on stage cold. He tunes his instrument. He warms up with the same scales he has practiced for years. The sequence is predictable, even boring. Yet it prepares him to perform at the highest level. Your morning ritual does the same for your discipline. It warms up your mind. It signals readiness. It makes action inevitable. Here is how you build yours. Step 1. Choose 3 simple actions you can perform in under 10 minutes. It might be stretch, hydrate, and write 1 line. It might be brew tea, breathe deeply, and plan your top 3 priorities. Step 2. Fix the order. Do not change it. Step 3. Repeat it every day until your brain associates that sequence with starting strong. Step 4. Protect it fiercely. No phone, no interruptions, no compromise. Think of it this way. Every morning you face a door. Behind the door is focus, energy, and direction. The fixed ritual is the key. Without it, you are left banging on the door, wasting time, wondering why nothing opens. With it, you unlock the door in seconds and walk straight through. Hill emphasized definiteness of purpose. A ritual is definiteness in action. It is purpose embodied. It tells the brain and the body, this is who I am, this is what I do. Over time, the ritual fuses with identity. You are no longer someone who hopes to start well. You are someone who always starts well. That identity builds unstoppable drive. Picture 2 writers. One wakes, checks messages, debates whether to write, finally begins an hour later, already drained. The other wakes, performs a fixed ritual, water, stretch, write 1 sentence, and then flows directly into his work. Which one produces more over a year? The difference is not talent. It is ritual. Here is a formula you can write down tonight. My ritual is Action 1, Action 2, Action 3. I will perform it immediately after my micro-action tomorrow. I will protect it for 30 days without exception. When you repeat this, the ritual becomes sacred. It becomes the fuse that lights your discipline every morning. You will stop wasting energy on trivial debates. You will stop losing time to hesitation. You will begin each day already in motion. So here is your 4th truth. Winners do not leave their mornings to chance. They ritualize them. They build a fixed starting sequence that kills hesitation and ignites momentum. You can do the same. Pick your ritual. Protect it. Repeat it. And watch how quickly your mornings transform from fragile experiments into powerful launchpads for discipline. The third hack winners use every morning is writing and visualization. They know that if you do not set your own direction, the world will set it for you. And the world is noisy, reactive, scattered. If you let the first inputs of the day come from messages, headlines, or social feeds, your brain becomes a sponge for chaos. Winners refuse to start reactive. They begin intentional. They put pen to paper, they visualize the outcome, and they command their day before the world can interrupt. Think about how your mornings usually begin. You grab your phone. Instantly, you are reading headlines written by people who do not care about your goals, scrolling posts designed to hook your attention, answering messages that serve someone else's priorities. Within minutes, your mental space is colonized. You did not choose your direction. You inherited one. That is why so many of your days feel fragmented before they even start. Winners do something different. They slow down just enough to claim the steering wheel. They write. They visualize. They anchor their focus on what matters. This is not wasted time. This is sharpening the blade before the battle. Napoleon Hill taught that definiteness of purpose was the foundation of achievement. But purpose must be renewed daily, or it fades into background noise. That is why he urged his students to write their goals, repeat them, and imagine them as already real. Writing makes your intentions visible. Visualization makes them emotional. Together, they hardwire your brain to act with clarity instead of drift. Here is how you can apply this hack. Step 1. Each morning, write down your top 3 priorities for the day. No more, no less. This forces focus. Step 2. Next to each, write why it matters, not just the task, but the deeper reason. Step 3. Close your eyes and visualize yourself completing them. See your hands signing the document, hear the sound of the weights dropping after the workout, feel the satisfaction of a clean workspace. Step 4. Keep this paper visible throughout the day. Step 5. In the evening, review and check them off. Imagine 2 captains. One sails without a map, pushed wherever the wind takes him. He might travel far, but he never arrives where he truly wanted. The other plots his course before leaving harbor. He knows exactly which direction to sail, and even when storms hit, he returns to his map and corrects his path. Which one arrives? Always the second. Writing and visualization are your map. Without them, you drift. With them, you arrive. You may resist this practice at first. It feels too simple. You tell yourself, I already know my goals, I do not need to write them. But knowledge is not enough. The act of writing engages different parts of the brain. It externalizes thought. It makes the intangible tangible. Visualization adds another layer, it engages emotion. And emotion is what fuels persistence when logic alone runs out. Here is a small formula you can use starting tomorrow morning. Step 1. Write down your top 3 tasks. Step 2. Next to each, write why this matters. Step 3. Close your eyes for 60 seconds and imagine the task complete. Step 4. Say out loud, I will finish these today. This sequence may take 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes will save you 5 hours of wasted motion later. Napoleon Hill often said that what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Writing is the conceiving. Visualization is the believing. Action is the achieving. Together, they form a chain that turns ideas into results. Picture 2 students preparing for exams. One wakes and immediately scrolls through notifications. By the time she opens her books, her mind is buzzing with noise. She studies distracted, half-focused, always pulled by other voices. The other wakes, writes down her 3 study targets, closes her eyes, and sees herself answering confidently. She begins clear, she studies with intention, she ends fulfilled. Which student performs better? The second. Not because of talent, but because of clarity. So here is your fifth truth. Do not let your mornings be stolen by the noise of others. Take them back with pen and vision. Write it down. See it done. Anchor your day in clarity before chaos arrives. Winners know the day belongs to whoever claims it first. And with this hack, that winner can be you. The fourth hack winners use every morning is fast physical activation. They know that the mind does not wake up on its own. It follows the body. If your body stays sluggish, your thoughts remain foggy. If your body ignites, your focus sharpens. Winners do not leave this to chance. They design their mornings to activate the body before the world demands anything. Think about how most mornings look. You roll out of bed, still heavy with sleep, and slump into a chair. You tell yourself you will wake up once the coffee kicks in. Until then, you scroll, you drift, you wait. By the time you feel alert, half an hour is gone. Worse, your brain has learned that passivity is the default. Discipline dies in those first passive minutes. Winners act differently. They move first, before excuses wake up. They do not wait to feel energized. They create energy. Some do push-ups. Some stretch deeply. Some step outside and breathe the cold air. Some run in place or take a short walk. The exact action varies, but the principle is the same: motion before mood. Napoleon Hill often emphasized that persistence requires vitality. He saw how leaders who kept strong bodies also kept strong wills. Physical energy fuels mental clarity. Winners do not separate the two. They understand that if you want a sharp mind, you must first charge the body. Here is how you apply this hack. Step 1. Choose a physical ritual that takes less than 5 minutes. It can be as simple as 10 push-ups, 20 squats, or 3 minutes of stretching. Step 2. Prepare it the night before. Lay out the mat, set out the shoes, or clear the space. Step 3. Perform it immediately after your fixed ritual. No delay, no negotiation. Step 4. Focus on intensity, not length. The goal is not a full workout. The goal is activation. Imagine 2 different mornings. The first begins with stillness and screens. You slump, scroll, and wait for caffeine to drag you awake. The second begins with breath and movement. You stretch, you move, you feel your blood flow. By the time you sit to work, your body hums with energy and your mind crackles with clarity. Which day wins? Always the second. Hill wrote that successful people build momentum from the very start. That momentum is not just mental. It is physical. A strong body leads the mind. Winners know this. That is why they do not surrender their first minutes to lethargy. They command their bodies to move, and their minds obey. Here is a formula you can follow tomorrow. Step 1. Place water beside your bed. Step 2. The moment you wake, drink it, stand, and stretch. Step 3. Perform 1 short movement sequence: squats, push-ups, or jumping jacks. Step 4. Breathe deeply for 1 full minute, eyes closed, shoulders tall. This entire routine may take 3 minutes. But it changes the tone of your entire day. You are no longer dragging yourself forward. You are charging into motion. Picture a soldier at dawn. He does not wait for comfort. He rises, moves, prepares. The act itself is the discipline. And that discipline carries into the fight. Your mornings deserve the same discipline. They are the battlefield of distraction. If you rise sluggish, you lose before the day begins. If you rise moving, you win before anyone else has even started. So here is your 6th truth. Do not wait for energy to arrive. Create it. Move first. Breathe first. Signal to your body that discipline has begun. Winners understand that momentum is not found. It is built. And if you build it in your body, your mind will follow. The 5th hack winners use every morning is creating a silent focus window. They know that silence is not empty, it is the most powerful condition for deep work. The world is loud, but in the first hour of the day you have a rare opportunity, the chance to control what fills your mind before the chaos arrives. Winners claim that silence and guard it fiercely. Think about your own mornings. How quickly do you let noise in? Maybe it is a buzzing phone, notifications stacked up overnight, news headlines screaming for attention, or a crowded commute filled with chatter. By the time you arrive at your desk, your mind has already fractured. You are trying to focus while carrying dozens of stray inputs. No wonder your day feels scattered. Now imagine another morning. You rise, move, hydrate, and then sit in complete silence. No phone. No alerts. No television. Just you, your breath, your thoughts, and the one task you choose. For 30 to 60 minutes, the world does not touch you. That hour becomes your fortress. That silence becomes your weapon. This is how winners operate. Napoleon Hill emphasized the power of concentration. He saw that every great achievement required the ability to think deeply and persistently without interruption. Scattered minds create scattered results. Focused minds build legacies. And the morning, when your willpower is highest and the world is still quiet, is the perfect time to train concentration. Here is how you apply this hack. Step 1. Block at least 30 minutes every morning where nothing interrupts you. Step 2. Eliminate every source of noise, silence the phone, close unnecessary tabs, shut the door if you can. Step 3. Choose one meaningful task: writing, planning, studying, or creating. Step 4. Work in complete silence until the time ends. Picture two carpenters. One works in a crowded market, constantly interrupted by noise and customers. He builds slowly, distracted, often making mistakes. The other works in a quiet workshop, undisturbed, with tools laid out clearly. He builds faster, straighter, better. Which one finishes the stronger house? Always the second. The difference is not skill. It is environment. Winners treat their silence as sacred because they know that what you produce in those golden minutes often outweighs hours of distracted effort later. 30 minutes of deep focus in the morning can produce more progress than 3 scattered hours in the afternoon. Silence multiplies output. Hill's formula for success was not about bursts of inspiration. It was about definiteness of purpose sustained through discipline. Silence is the condition where purpose sharpens and discipline deepens. Without it, you are always reacting. With it, you are always directing. Here is a formula you can write down and execute tomorrow. Step 1. Decide the task you will do in silence. Step 2. Prepare your space the night before. Step 3. Enter the silence, no devices, no chatter. Step 4. Work on that task until time ends, no matter how you feel. At first, silence may feel uncomfortable. Your mind will crave distraction. You will reach for your phone without thinking. That is normal. It is proof of how addicted you are to noise. But stay in the silence. Train it daily. Within weeks, what once felt empty will feel powerful. You will crave it. You will protect it. And it will become your secret advantage. So here is your 7th truth. Do not let noise steal your best hour. Claim silence. Protect it. In that silence, your thoughts sharpen, your focus deepens, and your discipline multiplies. Winners know that the world will be loud soon enough. But the morning belongs to the one who owns the quiet. The 6th hack winners use every morning is tackling the hardest task first. They know that discipline is strongest in the early hours. Energy is unspent. Willpower is fresh. Focus is sharp. That is why winners aim this peak state at the work that matters most, the task that demands courage, not comfort. Think about your normal pattern. You start with the easy things. You check messages, clean the inbox, skim social feeds, maybe tidy up small chores. It feels productive because you are busy. But it is an illusion. By the time you reach the hard work, the project, the call, the writing, the training, your energy has already thinned. Distraction has grown. Procrastination whispers louder. The hardest work is delayed until later, and often never done at all. Winners do not play this game. They flip the script. They confront the mountain while their legs are strongest. They put their hardest task first because they know that once it is finished, the rest of the day feels lighter. Completing the difficult work creates momentum that nothing else can match. Napoleon Hill wrote extensively about definiteness of purpose and organized planning. He warned against scattering energy on trivial tasks while neglecting the essential. His principle was clear: do the work that moves you closer to your definite goal. In practice, that means giving your best hours to the hardest, most important work. Here is how you apply this hack. Step 1. Each evening, identify your single most important, most difficult task for tomorrow. Write it down. Step 2. Place it at the top of your morning schedule. Step 3. Commit to working on it during your silent focus window before touching anything else. Step 4. Do not stop until you have made visible progress. Picture two climbers. The first spends the morning circling the base of the mountain, adjusting gear, polishing boots, making excuses. By the time he begins to climb, the sun is high and his energy low. The second begins climbing immediately at dawn, striking the hardest path first. By the time the first climber starts, the second is already halfway to the summit. The difference is not strength. It is sequence. You may resist this practice. You will tell yourself, I need to warm up with something easy. But that is just procrastination in disguise. Winners know that the real warm-up is progress itself. Nothing energizes you like moving the biggest rock. Once the hardest task is in motion, everything else flows easier. Here is a simple formula you can adopt tonight. Step 1. Write down your hardest task. Step 2. Prepare what you need for it. Clear the desk, set out the tools. Step 3. Begin it immediately during your focus window. Step 4. Do not allow yourself to check anything else until you have advanced it. Hill observed that procrastination was one of the greatest enemies of success. His antidote was decisive action directed at the most important goal. This hack applies that wisdom. By making the hardest task your first victory of the day, you build momentum and kill procrastination before it can grow. Imagine yourself tomorrow. You wake, you move, you hydrate, you sit in silence, and you attack the hardest thing. Maybe it is drafting a chapter. Maybe it is calling a client you fear. Maybe it is lifting weights heavier than ever before. Whatever it is, you do it first. By mid-morning, you are already a winner. No matter what interruptions arrive later, you have already moved your mission forward. So here is your 8th truth. Stop wasting your sharpest energy on shallow work. Aim it at the mountain. Climb it first. Winners know that the morning is the battlefield where procrastination is either killed or crowned. Kill it early. Conquer the hardest task first. And the rest of your day will bend in your favor. The 7th hack winners use every morning is identity visualization. They know that habits are fragile if they rest only on willpower. They are permanent if they rest on identity. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, you act disciplined. When you see yourself as weak, you act weak. Winners begin their mornings by reminding themselves not just what they are doing, but who they are becoming. Think about your usual self-talk. How many times have you said, I hope I can stay focused today, or I'll try not to procrastinate? Notice the weakness in those words. Hope and try are escape hatches. They frame discipline as optional, as an experiment you might abandon. Winners refuse this language. They replace it with identity statements. They say, I am disciplined. I am consistent. I am a finisher. And then they visualize themselves acting as that identity. Napoleon Hill taught that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Belief does not live only in outcomes. It lives in identity. If you believe you are a runner, you run. If you believe you are a creator, you create. If you believe you are disciplined, you follow through. Winners engrave this belief each morning before the day can erode it. Here is how you apply this hack. Step 1. Write one clear sentence about the identity you are building. Example, I am a disciplined builder of habits. Step 2. Repeat it out loud every morning after your ritual. Step 3. Close your eyes and visualize yourself living as that identity. See yourself working, moving, speaking, deciding with discipline. Step 4. Throughout the day, let each action become proof of that identity. Picture two athletes at the starting line. One whispers, I hope I can finish this race. The other says, I am a runner. Who pushes through pain? Always the second. Identity gives power when motivation fails. At first, this may feel awkward. You may resist saying these words out loud. You may think, this is silly. It will not change me. But think about the negative identities you already carry. I am lazy, I am inconsistent, I am undisciplined. You repeat those silently every time you quit. They shape you more than you realize. If negative identities can trap you, positive ones can free you. Here is a writing formula you can use tomorrow morning. Step 1, write the sentence I am, identity. Step 2, say it out loud 3 times. Step 3, visualize yourself acting as that person for 60 seconds. Step 4, carry that picture into your first task. He'll observe that people fail not because they lack goals, but because they lack a definite self-concept that aligns with those goals. You cannot live consistently if your identity contradicts your actions. Identity visualization closes that gap. It makes the new self feel real before it fully exists. And once your brain believes, it begins to act accordingly. Imagine tomorrow. You wake, stretch, hydrate, perform your ritual, and then say, I am disciplined. You close your eyes and see yourself writing for an hour without distraction, moving through the hardest task, finishing strong. When you open your eyes, your brain already feels as though you have begun. That momentum carries you into action. So here is your 9th truth. Discipline is not just a list of tasks. It is who you are. Begin every morning by declaring your identity and visualizing yourself living it. Winners know that when you become the habit, you no longer need to chase motivation. Discipline flows from identity. And identity, rehearsed daily, becomes unshakable reality. The 8th hack winners use every morning is tracking and recording progress. They know that invisible progress kills discipline. If you cannot see the proof of your effort, your brain begins to doubt. You wonder if the struggle matters. You feel stuck. And when the mind feels stuck, it quits. Winners never allow their progress to remain invisible. They record it, review it, and reinforce it until persistence becomes inevitable. Think about how many times you gave up because you could not see results. You worked out for weeks, but the mirror showed no change. You studied for days, but the grade did not rise yet. You wrote page after page, but the book still felt unfinished. You said to yourself, what's the point? And you stopped. The problem was not the absence of progress. It was the absence of proof. Napoleon Hill insisted that goals should be written, tracked, and reviewed daily. He understood a simple truth: the brain thrives on evidence. Every check mark, every page logged, every workout counted tells the mind, I am moving forward. That evidence fuels belief. And belief sustains action long after feelings fade. Here is how you apply this hack. Step 1. Choose one method of tracking: a notebook, a calendar, a wall chart, or even a digital log. Step 2. Every morning, record what you have done. Write the words I completed my morning ritual or I trained today. Step 3. Keep the record visible. Step 4. Review it often, especially on days when you doubt yourself. Picture two builders stacking bricks. One never steps back. He only sees the single brick in his hand and feels as though nothing is changing. He gets discouraged. The other steps back daily, sees the wall rising, and feels motivated to keep going. Which builder completes the house? Always the second. the difference is not effort. It is proof. At first, tracking may feel unnecessary. You may think, I already know I did the work. Why write it down? But knowing in your head is not the same as seeing with your eyes. The act of recording externalizes your effort. It creates a physical artifact of discipline. Over time, that artifact becomes a shield against doubt. Here is a formula you can use tomorrow. Step 1. Write your habit at the top of a page. Example, morning ritual. Step 2. Each day you complete it, put a check mark. Step 3. Do not break the chain. Step 4. At the end of the week, review the chain and write one sentence of reflection. Hill observed that persistence is built from small, repeated reinforcement. Tracking is that reinforcement. Each mark is a micro-reward. Each line is a statement, I am consistent. I am disciplined. Eventually, you stop seeing the record as proof of behavior and start seeing it as proof of identity. Imagine two versions of yourself. One wakes and performs the habit but never records it. By the end of the week, you doubt you did much. Discouragement creeps in. The other wakes, performs the habit, records it on paper, and at the end of the week sees a line of 7 check marks. Motivation rises, pride grows, and the cycle strengthens. Which self keeps going? Always the second. So here is your 10th truth. Do not let your discipline vanish into memory. Record it. Track it. Make it visible. Winners know that progress you can see becomes progress you believe. And belief is the fuel that turns weak will into unstoppable drive. The 9th hack winners use every morning is celebrating micro-victories. They know discipline cannot survive on punishment alone. If effort always feels heavy and unrewarded, the mind rebels. But if effort brings reward, even small reward, the mind craves more. Winners attach joy to progress. They celebrate each step so that discipline becomes something they want, not just something they endure. Think about your own routine. How many times have you finished a workout, a reading session, or a writing sprint and immediately dismissed it? You said, it's only 10 minutes. It's not enough. That dismissal steals the power of your action. Your brain registers that effort brings no satisfaction, so why repeat it? Over time, this erodes motivation and leaves you trapped in cycles of quitting. Winners refuse to dismiss. They magnify. They take a small win and label it victory. They pump a fist after finishing a set. They smile after writing one page. They say out loud, that was a win. These micro-celebrations might look silly from the outside, but inside they are powerful. They wire the brain to link effort with reward. Napoleon Hill taught that success is the accumulation of small, consistent efforts compounded over time. He emphasized persistence, the steady push of small wins that eventually break resistance. If you dishonor the small wins, you dishonor the foundation of achievement. Winners treat micro-victories with respect because they know those victories build momentum. Here is how you apply this hack. Step 1. At the end of each morning habit, pause. Step 2. Acknowledge what you accomplished, no matter how small. Step 3. Anchor the feeling with a gesture, smile, nod, or even write win in your journal. Step 4. Let that moment fuel the next habit. Picture two climbers. Both take hundreds of steps up a mountain. One only celebrates at the peak. Until then, he suffers, resents, and questions why he climbs. The other celebrates each ledge reached, each step upward. For him, the journey itself becomes rewarding. Who climbs further? Always the second. Because celebration transforms effort into fuel. You may resist this practice. You may think, celebrating small things feels childish. I should only celebrate when I've done something big. But think about how children learn. Every small step, every small word is celebrated. That celebration creates confidence. Adults still need this reinforcement, but we deny it and then wonder why we quit. Winners accept it. They celebrate the process. Here is a practical formula to try tomorrow. Step 1. Complete your morning habit. Step 2. Say out loud, "That was a win." Step 3. Mark it in your tracker with a symbol of victory. Step 4. Take 3 deep breaths and let yourself feel proud. Hill reminded us that emotions fuel persistence. The emotion you attach to effort determines whether it repeats. If effort always feels empty, you avoid it. If effort feels rewarding, you repeat it. Celebration attaches reward to effort. Imagine tomorrow morning. You wake, stretch, hydrate, write 1 page, and then pause. You say, "That was a win." You smile, you mark it down. That small moment shifts your state. You no longer see yourself as someone forcing discipline. You see yourself as someone winning daily. That shift multiplies over weeks into unshakable drive. So here is your 11th truth. Stop waiting for the finish line to feel proud. Celebrate the steps. Honor the process. Treat every micro victory as proof that you are becoming the person you want to be. Winners know that joy fuels persistence. If you link discipline to pride instead of punishment, you will stop resisting it. You will crave it. You want to go further, faster? Add accountability. Most people think accountability is punishment. Like it's someone breathing down your neck. Like it kills freedom. But real winners see it differently. They know that accountability is not a restriction, it's an accelerant. It forces clarity. It removes the exit doors. It transforms "I'll try" into "I must." Discipline falters in isolation. When no one knows what you said you'd do, quitting is easy. You talk yourself out of commitment. You move the goalpost. You say, "Maybe tomorrow." But when you speak it out loud, when you make it visible, the stakes change. Now you're on the hook. Now you show up. Every successful person Hill studied had a mechanism of accountability. A trusted partner. A mastermind group. A coach. Someone they promised. Someone who reminded them who they said they wanted to become. So here's the hack. Make your morning habit public. Not to the world. Just to one person. But make it real. Say to a friend, "I'll send you a photo after my workout every morning at 7:15. If I don't, text me one word, slipping." That's it. No lecture. No guilt. Just a mirror. That mirror makes you move. Because you're not just showing up for yourself now. You're showing up for the identity you claimed. You want a deeper edge? Do it visually. Put a tracker on the wall. Use a red marker. Every day you hit the habit, draw a bold X. It sounds simple. It is. But it's powerful. Because now there's evidence. And when you see a wall full of red XS, you protect it. You don't want to break the chain. That's momentum. That's identity reinforcement. Here's where people fail. They keep discipline private. They hide their effort. They don't want to be seen in case they fall. But here's the twist, being seen is what makes you rise. When your identity is visible, it gets stronger. When your word is witnessed, it becomes law. Winners use visibility as fuel, not fear. Napoleon Hill taught that success is born in clarity and action. He wrote, "A definite purpose backed by definite plans will transform desire into reality." But plans hidden in your mind are soft. Spoken plans, visible promises, those are hard. They force movement. That's the edge. You don't need 10 people. Just one. You don't need shame. Just a mirror. You don't need motivation. Just a reason not to lie to yourself again. So here's your system. Pick one morning habit. Choose one person. Set a time. Make a rule, proof, or a ping. Track it visibly. Try this for 7 days. Not to be perfect, but to be real. Let yourself be seen doing what you said matters. You'll feel discomfort. That's growth. You'll feel pressure. That's the furnace where new identity is forged. You want lasting discipline? Add accountability. Not later. Not when you're ready. Now. Winners don't wait for perfect habits before they share them. They share first. They let pressure shape them. They understand that a private promise is weak, a witnessed one is strong. So write it down. Share the vow. Show the proof. And watch how fast your consistency multiplies. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your habits. But what happens when your habits are no longer something you do, they're something you are? That's the shift. That's where everything changes. This isn't about building one morning routine, one checklist, or one winning streak you're scared to break. This is about welding discipline so deep into your identity that it stops being a decision. You don't have to choose to show up, you simply are the person who always shows up. You've already proven you can act with discipline. Now it's time to embody it. The story you've been living. Think back to the version of you that tried to change. Maybe they downloaded apps, made lists, joined challenges, watched videos, tried to force new habits like stacking blocks on top of a shaky table. But what they didn't do was change the table. That table, your identity, is where habits are born, lived, and die. Here's the brutal truth. You can do disciplined things and still see yourself as inconsistent. And if your self-concept and your systems don't align, you'll always fall back to who you believe you are. That's why habits break. That's why you quit even after doing everything right. The moment you become it. Discipline becomes real when it becomes automatic. And automation begins in identity. Ask yourself, right now, out loud. What kind of person gets up early and trains even when nobody is watching? What kind of person turns off their phone and goes deep into their craft? The answer? You. Not just temporarily. Not when convenient. But daily. Even silently. Especially silently. The world might not see the work. But the mirror always does. And the person you see in the mirror, the one who did what needed to be done, that person is where real confidence comes from. Your identity loop. Let's simplify it. You take action. That action becomes evidence. The evidence shapes identity. That identity fuels the next action. That's the identity loop. And here's the key, you can insert yourself into that loop at any time. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You act as if. You move as if. You show up as if. And the moment you do it, you've already begun to become it. Practical reset, build your habit reflection wall. Here's one exercise to lock this in. At the end of each day, ask, did I act in alignment with the disciplined identity I'm building? If yes, write down how. If no, write down what pulled you away. Repeat this for 30 days. Let the entries stack. Let the paper or screen show you who you are becoming. This wall becomes your mirror. Not just of behavior, but of becoming. Don't just check boxes. Change belief. Most people think they need more goals. You don't. You need to believe something new about yourself. Start saying it. Write it. Record it in your phone and play it back while you walk. Say, I am someone who finishes. I am someone who trains through doubt. I am someone who honors my time. I am someone who builds my edge. Because every time you act like that person, you become that person. When quitting disappears as an option. When you are the habit, you stop looking for reasons to quit. There's no drama. No bargaining. No panic when the schedule changes. You just do it. You wake up and move. You feel tired and execute. You get knocked down and restart. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. You've already done the only thing that matters. You've convinced yourself. Turn the page, burn the bridge. Let this part of your story be a turning point. No more starting over. No more being the type of person who tries to be disciplined. You are disciplined. You are relentless. You are built different not because of your DNA, but because of your daily decisions. So close the chapter on who you used to be. Burn the bridge back. And walk forward into the identity you've already earned step by disciplined step. You want transformation? You want power? You want results no one can take from you? Then stop asking for them. Start living them. Every day. In silence. In repetition. In the moments when no one's watching, but you are. Because your destiny isn't something that arrives. It's something that accumulates. One decision. One action. One morning. 1 hour at a time. Discipline is a daily vote. Every single action you take is a vote for the future you want. You vote with your eyes when you choose what to look at. You vote with your legs when you choose where to go. You vote with your energy when you choose what to build. The problem? Most people keep voting for a future they secretly hate. They scroll, delay, complain, hesitate, and then wonder why they're stuck. But not you. Because now you know. Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is not restriction. Discipline is a daily self-election. And every repetition is a campaign speech to your future self. Build your morning like an architect, not a tourist. Tourists wander. Architects plan. If you wake up and let the world decide your energy, your attention, your pace, you're a tourist in your own life. But if you wake up and build the day before it builds you, you win. Create your morning like an architect. Lock your wake-up ritual. Script your first 30 minutes like a sacred ceremony. Prepare your tools, your workspace, your movement the night before. Remove emotion from the equation. Execute like it's who you are. Because now, it is. Tourists drift. Architects design. You are not a wanderer anymore. You are the one who draws the blueprint. Let repetition become rhythm. If it feels boring, that's good. If it feels familiar, that's growth. If it feels quiet, that's where momentum lives. There's a reason elite performers don't get bored with the basics. Because the basics are the magic. You don't need new. You need real. And real comes from repetition that evolves into rhythm. When rhythm takes over, hesitation dies. You no longer ask, should I do it? You just do. That's when your mornings become launchpads, not leftovers. Reset faster than you fall. Discipline isn't about never slipping. It's about how fast you reset. Anyone can have a bad day. The question is, do you turn a bad 10 minutes into a bad 10 hours? Winners don't avoid failure. They recover faster. Build a system for the fall. Know your bounce-back cue. Have one rule that never breaks. Maybe it's no 0 days. Maybe it's always return to breath. Maybe it's write one sentence, no matter what. That one tiny ritual becomes the rope you pull to climb out of the pit. Stop negotiating with weakness. You already know the voice. It whispers in the morning, just sleep a little more. It nudges at lunch, just skip it today. It shouts at night, you've done enough. That voice is not you. That voice is not your future. That voice is your comfort reflex, and it's outdated. You're not obligated to negotiate with it anymore. You don't owe your past laziness a seat at the table. You've evolved. And now you lead the conversation. You say what happens next. Your morning is the fork in the road. Every morning, you stand at the intersection between the old you and the next you. One path is familiar. Soft. Looped in excuses. The other path? Clear. Hard. Quiet. But it leads somewhere different. You already know which one is yours. You've walked the old one too many times. Now it's time to turn. Not just once, but every single morning. Choose that new path 10 days in a row, and you'll never unsee your potential again. Your life is not later. It's today. Most people push change into tomorrow. They say, I'll be more focused next week. I'll start waking up early next month. I'll commit after I feel ready. But tomorrow isn't real. Today is. And if you want to live in power, today is the only place it exists. So you act now. Not big. Not dramatic. Just decisively. One breath. One rep. One written word. One rejection turned into fuel. One win. Then another. And slowly, the version of you who waited will disappear. Replaced by the version of you who moves. Final lock, your daily discipline declaration. Take 60 seconds right now. Say this out loud, or write it, or record it. I choose discipline before comfort. I move before I feel ready. I win the morning before the world wakes up. I finish what I start. I am becoming the person I already respect. This is your declaration. This is how you take the invisible and make it real. This is how you stop chasing change and start living it. So now you know. It was never about motivation. It was never about waiting for the perfect day. It was always about one thing: showing up before the world wakes up. Winners don't wonder how they'll feel. They don't ask for permission from their emotions. They train discipline until it becomes identity. And now it's your turn. Start tomorrow before it starts you. Set your trigger. Lock your first move. Make the morning yours again and again until it's unshakable. If this message moves something in you, don't just scroll past it. Leave a comment. Lock it in with a like. Share it with someone who's ready to break the loop. This isn't content. This is your contract with yourself. Hit subscribe if you're ready to show up daily, no matter how you feel. Because this is how it starts. Quiet. Small. Relentless. And it never stops.